Hello and welcome back to SRK English Academy. Today in this video lesson, we are going to discuss the poem The Felling of the Banyan Tree written by Dilip Chitre. Before going to read the poem, let's know about the author. Dilip Chitre, he was born in 1938 in Baroda, Gujarat. He was a bilingual writer. He wrote in English and Marathi. He belonged to Marathi family and he was a poet, translator, short story writer, painter and filmmaker. So this poem is taken from Traveling in a Cage. It was published in 1980. So at the age of 12, in 1951, his family moved to Bombay. So he was born in Baroda, but at the age of 12, his family moved to Mumbai or Bombay. So his significant work of translation was Tukaram's devotion poems, that is, Says Tuka. So this translation won Sahitya Academy Award in 1994. So in the same year, he also won Sahitya Academy for his original work, Ikun Kavita. So in 1994, he received two Sahitya Academy Awards, one for translation, another for his original work, Ikun Kavita. This is an autobiographical poem, and it's a free verse 25-line poem. Uh, so the poem is about cutting down an ancient banyan tree that stood in the yard of the poet's ancestral house in Baroda. So here the poet speaks about an incident in his childhood happened in Baroda. So this incident happened when the poet's family decided to move to Bombay. So his father took a decision to demolish his house and also the houses surrounding his house. They were the tenants' houses, and he also ordered woodcutters to cut down the trees in the yard, along and the trees, the neem tree, shevga tree, and the banyan trees in the yard. So the central theme of the poem is uprootedness. So that is the idea of leaving a family home. Here the poet family were leaving uh, Baroda to settle in Bombay. So here the poet employed imagery and metaphors throughout the poem, and he also personified the banyan tree. So he used the words massacre, slaughter. Let's read the poem line by line. My father told the tenants to leave, who lived on the houses surrounding our house on the hill. So, when his father took a decision to move to uh, Bombay, so he told his tenants to leave the houses. So he demolished one by one structures were demolished. Only our own house remained and the trees. So he destroyed the tenants' houses, and also here only his house remained and some trees in their yard. So trees are sacred, my grandmother used to say. Felling them is a crime, but he massacred them all. So grandmother here represents the older generation. According to her, cutting trees is a crime, especially holy trees like banyan tree and audumber tree. So here the poet belongs to Marathi family, that is Hindu religion. So in Hindu mythology, uh, uh, some tales are associated with the plants like banyan and audumber tree, and they are worshipped. Trees are worshipped in a Hindu religion. So it's a she said that cutting trees was a crime, but his father didn't bother about it. He least bothered. He uh, cut down the trees. The shega, the adambo, the neem were all cut down, but the huge banyan tree stood like a problem. So here trees, neem tree, shevga tree, adambo trees. So some trees are medicinal trees, and also adambo tree. It's a it is worshipped in Hindu religion, and in Maharashtra, Marathi people they meditate under this tree. So that's why these trees are sacred or holy to the people. So here they cut down all the trees, but the huge banyan tree stood like a problem. So the wood, it was a problem to the woodcutters because the banyan tree was very big. Its trunk was uh, very big. So it was a challenge to them to cut the big tree. So whose roots lay deeper than all our lies. So here the banyan trees roots are deeper than all our lives. Here it means that the banyan tree witnessed so uh, many generations. So that's why their roots are deeper. My father ordered it to be removed, but his father least bothered about it, and he ordered to remove, cut down huge banyan tree which stood in the backyard, in the yard. The banyan tree was 3 times as tall as our house. Its trunk had a circumference of 50 feet. So this is a picture of banyan tree, and the poet's banyan tree, which stood in the yard, was 3 times as tall as his house. So it was a big, huge banyan tree, and its trunk had a circumference of 50 feet. So it was a big trunk. So its scraggly aerial roots fell to the ground from 30 feet or more. So first they cut the branches. Here, uh, these are aerial roots. Uh, they were hanging down and they were about to touch the ground, and they were badly grown uneven. The aerial roots were not straight, and they were hanging down from the 30 feet. So it was a huge banyan tree, and it was a big problem, and it was a challenge to cut the tree. So the woodcutters decided to uh, cut the branches first. Then they go to cut. Then they wanted to cut the trunk. So sawing them off for 7 days, and the heap was huge. Insects and birds began to leave the tree. So the woodcutters took 7 days to cut the branches, and the heap was huge. There was a big uh, heap, and the insects and birds uh, now became homeless. So they left the tree. The birds and insects which made this banyan tree as a home now started to leave the tree, and then they came to its massive trunk. 50 men with axes chopped and chopped. So here the woodcutters took 7 days to cut the branches, and there was a huge heap of the branches. And now the woodcutters came to cut this large trunk, massive trunk. And how many people, how many cutters came to the trunk? 50 men. So they came with their axes and started cutting down the tree. The great tree revealed its rings of 200 years. We watched in terror and fascination the slaughter. So these are tree rings. So when they cut the trunk, these rings revealed the age of the banyan tree. So we can guess the age of the tree with these uh, rings. So the banyan tree was 200 years old, the age old banyan tree. So the poet's family watched this cutting down the tree, big, huge tree. They watched it in terror. They were frightened, and also they were fascinating. It was the action was fascinating because it was a big, huge tree, and the poet described this cutting down the tree as slaughter. So slaughter means the killing of a large number of people or animals. So the poet personified the banyan tree as a raw mythology revealed to its age. So the poet felt that the age-old tree it had knowledge, and it witnessed numerous events and many historical events, and also it witnessed so many generations. So soon afterwards, we left Baroda for Bombay, where there are no trees except the one. So after the demolition of the houses and cutting of these trees, his family, the poet's family, moved to Bombay. And in the Bombay, the poet didn't see trees except the one in his dreams. So here we see the conflict between Baroda and Bombay. Baroda represents rural life. Bombay, it's a cosmopolitan city, and it has so many big buildings and concrete buildings. So here the poet didn't see any big trees in the Bombay city, except the one which grows and seethes in one's dreams. Its aerial roots looking for the ground to strike. So the poet only saw the tree in his dreams. So which with its aerial roots hanging down, it was trying to touch the ground, but there was no place to settle down. This is a summary of the poem. It includes about the author, and this is used for your final examination. Thank you for watching this video.